Hello everyone, it's Charlotte here. Welcome to my home and happy Saturday. I had a comment from one of my subbies last week that had been following along when we did the collage board. And she told me she had to start over because she was collaging on, she was going to make tags, but she was collaging on a brown paper sack and it was too thin. And that just got me thinking about how cool that brown paper sack would be if you scrunched it all up and tore it, and what great texture you would get. And so I pulled out a piece of a box and just went and decided to collage using tea-dyed papers and not as much pattern, not as much color, keeping it kind of neutral with pops of color, but for the most part using papers like this, because this isn't something I normally collage with because it's not interesting to me. So I thought, yeah, let's use this up and let's concentrate on texture, and this is what I came up with. So there's tissue paper that's been crumpled up. I don't know if you can see how it's not smooth at all. There's tissue paper. Then I used crackle paste, and I did go ahead and put the paper on the back so that you could write on this tag. And then I took it to the machine because that's an added layer of texture. And then I added metal embellishments this time, and I just fell in love with it. So I thought, let's take this to the camera and let's play around with this. So this is one that I did, and then this is another that I did, and you can see there's collage papers here. This is I'm not sure if this is deli paper up here that's been scrunched up, but I did the same thing with this. I took it to the machine and I left the strings, and then I added metal embellishments. Here's a metal star. This is a metal butterfly, and then I added strings to this as well. And the truth be told, I am in love with these. I think these are just the coolest things ever. So I thought this will be a two-part video. The first part, of course, is going to be the collaging, and then it's going to have to dry. And then the next video will be cutting them out. And I did put crackle paste on this one as well. I'm not positive if you can see, but this is crackle paste all in here and underneath the butterfly wing. So yeah, it just was fun, and I thought, let's do this. Let's share this. So I am going to just go ahead and we are going to collage. This is part of a Tootsie Roll Pop box. And so I thought, let's collage this together. Then let's add our texture elements, which is the papers. And then the next video, we will cut this up, and then we will add the crackle paste and we will decorate. And you can see just how cool it is, and it's really, really fun. So I was thinking about, I don't normally collage with these papers like I mentioned, because they're plain and just kind of, I mean, they're beautiful in a journal. I love them, but they have a purpose in a journal. And on the collage board, I just kind of look at them and think, they're so plain. There's nothing to them. Yes, they can absorb beautiful designs with the coffee or the tea, but for the most part, when I collage, I look for color and I look for pattern. And I just thought it doesn't matter, because what we're putting on top of these is the texture. And so I think you really do kind of want that, the plainness. When you look at the tags, you can't tell that, you can't tell there's plain paper underneath here. And so I really, really like that and thought, let's just go ahead and do that. This is, I think, part of an Artie Mays kit, digital kit. It's a little piece that I had left over. Hyacinth. I don't want that even, so we're just going to move that over like that. And then I came across a piece that, let's use this. I came across a piece of rice paper that I had waxed. And I thought maybe, just maybe, we can use that. But it will, I won't want to cover up. It's a butterfly. I'll show it to you in just a second. I know I will not want to cover that up. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got this here. Using those scraps up. I love it when I look at my scrap pile and there's just not a whole lot there. So this probably will be a fairly quick video, I think, today. Let's see what else I have. Like I mentioned, I kind of want to stick with neutrals, and they don't have to be small cuts because we are going to take and cover a lot of this up. So if you've got favorite papers, if you want to try this, you've got favorite papers with, you know, beautiful patterns of flowers, roses, that sort of thing. This is not going to be where you want to use those papers. And I am getting glue on the outside, but I'm going to be getting into the collage Podge, so it really is not going to matter, I don't think. Let's use this. This is kind of cool. And then maybe we can use that other piece, and that'll be the end of this. And call it done. Perfect. And then we've got this little piece here. Let's just go ahead and then you want to get out either your Mod Podge or your collage Podge, whatever you want to use. So our board is covered, and I can put the glue stick away if I can find the top. It's here somewhere. I don't know where it is. We'll find it. But also on top of this, I did use Mod Podge, the matte finish. Excuse me, I went ahead and I sealed the crackle so it couldn't flake off, because sometimes I've noticed that it will do that. So now what I want is to take pattern paper. Oh, and I did forget my little guy here is my rice paper. Do we want him? I don't know if I want, I don't think I'm going to use him because I don't want that pattern to be gone. So I have a tea bag here, and I'm just kind of crinkling the tea bag up. Then I've got deli paper here, and we want to crinkle this up because this is what is going to give us the texture. The texture is what I am after. I think with this too, you can use string and threads. I haven't tried that yet, Here's a piece of pattern paper. Here's another piece of tea bag. I have some of this vintage tissue. Let's use it. And then if we need more, I've got plenty here to work with. So what I'm going to do is I have my little paint container here, and I am going to get out my collage Podge. You can use Mod Podge, you could use matte medium, whatever. And we are just going to ask ourselves, where do we want texture? And we want texture all over. So I am just going to, you're going to see how cool this is. I'm just going to get this down. Just random. It doesn't have to be, there's no order. You're just going to get this down. You want it, obviously, you want it to adhere. So you can see it's pretty cool. I mean, we've got texture right there already. Look at that. That's what we're after. We just want some texture, and we still have design. You can still see design. Because we don't want to cover the board just with texture. You want some places with texture and some places that are just smooth. The whole thing is not textured. So just have a go. Just play with it. Get it how to where you like it. And when you cut it out, you're going to see what you're going to get. And then we're going to put crackle paste. You could put let's see, it was on this one I used a stencil and did crackle paste, and on this one I just went and took the crackle paste. I mean, you can really see the cracks there. I just took my finger and then just put crackle paste on that. And then I did do some painting with the watercolors, so I did do that. So we're going to do that, and then I sewed, and then I figured out what elements I wanted and put my metal on there. I knew I wanted metal. Now, don't panic if you want to do this and you don't have metal. You don't need metal. You can use buttons, strings, charms, cutouts, die cuts. Doesn't have to be metal. I just happened to get in my metal box because I have metal and I'm not using it. And I thought, let's get into it. Let's use it. We have it. Let's use it. So in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking, all right, I'm going to be cutting these into tags. So where am I going to cut? That's why you want this to be really dry, because you are going to cut it and you want a sharp blade. But you want this to adhere really well. You don't want it coming up. So I am using quite a bit of collage Podge. When this is totally dry, then I am going to go into distress over it, and we'll do that on camera, and then we'll cut it. Do that all in the next video. So I am just putting enough on there to adhere this down. And then if it starts to lay flat, you can take your finger and scrunch it up. Put it however you want it. If it rips, it doesn't matter. That's not going to matter at all. Here's a piece of pattern paper. I'm going to turn my board. But yeah, I just was sitting there thinking about what she said about I was working on a paper bag and the paper bag was too thin. And I thought, oh, paper bag scrunched up. And then the thought of a paper bag scrunched up led me to texture, which then led me to this idea. So I want to say thank you so much, because I really, really loved what I received in the way of design on those two tags. And then you can see, hopefully you can see how that is pretty raised up, the texture. And then I really think if you wanted to, and I don't have any in front of me, you could take threads and just lay threads down here and get an effect with the threads. Let's see, this would be cool. I've waxed it, so you're not going to be able to scrunch it, but I was going to say that would be pretty cool too. So here's a piece of, I think it's deli paper. So let's put this on there. And then this will be a short video in that this needs to dry really well. And you want to use an old brush that you don't care about with this. And when you go to cut this, there may be pieces that maybe you won't like and you won't want to use them, and then that's okay too. But hopefully everything that you're creating with this, you're going to be able to use. See what we've got. If you're sitting there thinking, Charlotte, you've got a mess. Well, you're right. I do have a mess. But hopefully it's going to be really, really cool when it's done. I have just a little corner I can see. I want to get just a little something up there. So let me take a piece of this pattern paper and scrunch it up. Might be easier just to stick the pattern paper in the collage Podge itself, kind of like when you're doing a paper mache. Now my other, when I was doing it, I did dry it with a heat tool, but you can see it's pretty wet, and so I have to put a lot of heat on it, and I don't want it to burn, so I just think this is going to be easier if I do it this way and just let it dry on its own. So this is going to be it for now. And if it's not all laying flat, that's good. Don't worry about that. So guys, yeah, I mean, it does look like a mess, doesn't it? It looks like one great big mess, but let me show you once again what we're going to get from this great big mess. So I'm going to put this aside. We are done with that. Let me put this aside to dry. You know, and if you've got places where you're like, oh, you know, it's like, that's pretty flat, that's pretty flat, this is real flat, this is not, it's not. But it's going to be, depending upon what we do with it, hopefully you're going to love it. But that is what I did to achieve these. And then When it was totally dried, I trimmed the edges. I went and I distressed with Vintage Photo over the whole top. Then I put my backing on, and then I stitched around. No, I didn't do that either. Then I did my crackle paste, and then I stitched around. And if you don't have a machine, don't worry about that. That's just not that big a deal. I wanted it on here because it was just another layer of texture. And that was what I was after with these. So guys, yeah, I will catch you in the next video, and this is what we are playing with. So go make a mess, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye now.